Hey folks, and welcome back here to Ace Run Productions as we continue to bring you coverage of the 2023 Discraft Big Rip Classic presented by Ledgestone out in Lumberton, Mississippi, out at the Eagles Landing Disc Golf Course. We are with our feature card now on the back nine and continue to bring the coverage to myself, Dustin Murray, and joining alongside me is Shane Seal. Again, folks, make sure that you're following Ace Run Productions out on all of the socials. As we take a little bit of a look at the leaderboard here, Shane, what is kind of sticking out to you for scores?
Oh, we have a hot round there at 9, what we would think of as a hot round normally. But some of these guys are really on pace to maybe even blow by that. But have some folks in at the clubhouse kind of setting a number, and we're going to see if these guys can chase them down. Looks like here we are picking up on hole 10. Again, an elevated tee. Lots of danger here in the rough to the right side. We can see the stakes kind of along that rough, also going all the way around, kind of creating an island green. We're going to see players here probably throw a backhand mid with something stable, or maybe even a forehand, trying to get that thing to get out of the air quickly as possible and just kind of spike in at the basket.
Yeah, I've definitely seen players kind of go both ways with this, whether it be spike, hyzer, backhand, or forehand. JohnE McCray, of course, going for the backhand out wide. Ooh. Well done.
Well done. Good look at birdie there. Next up is Chad. It's a little low.
Yeah, that's really low. That's going to be back pretty early.
Well, there is a rule here with a drop zone up on top of the levee that they may go to. So we'll have to see how they play that out.
Yeah, as that's Matty O with his anvil and puts it right there in circle 1. This might be a Toro or a Cayman or something like that from Sylus Williams, as that's kind of his 2 approach disc, but that is
a little bit more.
Yeah, You're right. It needed more. So it is a drop zone for those 2. Not a fun drop zone, I would say. It's still very scary.
Yeah, we've heard a lot of players talk about that over time, but these guys may look pretty straightforward.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of reminds me of like the hole 8 drop zone from Maple Hill. Just like a death putt downhill. Whoa, that one jumped out for Matt. What the heck?
Looked good all the way. Just a little right, maybe.
Yeah, just a touch. But that's like one of those, I guess, like 50-50s that sometimes fall in, but sometimes they don't quite hit for you. So he's going to take a par on this one.
Yeah, I'd like to see that one hyzering a little bit more than it was just a little flat, I think.
Yeah, so just a bogey cleanup there for Sauce after the OB off the tee. Same thing essentially for Chad Sherbert, as JohnE McCray's got a chance for birdie here. And he'll hit it.
Our lone birdie, surprisingly enough, on this hole, a par and 2 bogeys. So while we kept the scorecards clean early, looks like we've claimed a couple of victims here. Chad goes back to find his disc.
Yeah, that is one of the holes that can definitely happen for you. Again, with this, slanted levee with the island green, definitely one of those holes that can sometimes get you, and it did bite a couple of our featured card players here. As we now head to another hole here on this levee, hole 11.
Yeah, it's another par 4 here. Again, elevated green. As you can see, the stakes kind of marking the OB right here. Just past this pole where some of our conservative players will be landing. Right around here, we'll see some of our bigger arms throwing there for a nice, easy approach. Again, though, we do have a basket that's kind of on a slanted green. Sometimes this could be a little tricky, and we'll see some rollaways. So let's see how our players attack this one, but should see some birdies here, I would think.
This is probably a grace or a rive from JohnE McCray, kind of his 2 go-to distance drivers. That one gets up and rolls, but curls away from the OB.
Nice. Right about that pole we were talking about.
This is Matty O. Looks like he's going maybe mid off the tee or fairway driver.
Yeah, we see a lot of players dissect this hole kind of into 2 parts.
Indeed, that was a fairway driver. Lands nice. That looks maybe turned a bit too much.
Yeah, it looks a little faster, but it looks like it's got a little left in it. Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Go down.
He knows his disc. Fair enough. So we got the old Halo Destroyer here from Sylus, and he's looking to go big.
Yeah, Sylus normally does. He likes to watch it fly.
Oh, flirts with that line, but does stay in. And yeah, again, 15-year-old, recent junior world champion, and Plaque's plenty of power already in his age.
Here we see Johnny with this upshot. Just got to get a little bit up the hill, just at circle's edge.
Yeah, going to be kind of a scary one, though, with that slant, as this is Matty O just with the anvil approach here. That's going to be stress-free.
Oh, yeah. We may see Johnny with that turbo putt you alluded to earlier. Who knows? Nice-looking forehand approach here. Oh, yeah, just past the basket.
Yeah, these guys are making this hole look easy. Although I will say Sylus let that one get a little bit away from him high, but no real punishment for it.
There's the turbo. Ooh, just off the left side.
Yeah, so a couple of tap-in birdies for the bulk of the card, whereas JohnE McCray will have to just settle for the drop-in par. So a good bounce back for these players after the bogey on the previous hole.
Yeah, you know, Johnny was just a little shorter than the other players off the tee, and so that may have played into him being the only par there.
Indeed it may, as we take a look at the leaderboard. Matty O, a couple of strokes ahead of those just behind him. And we'll be right back with more coverage after a short break. Back at it here as we approach hole 12. A little more trees in the field this time.
Yep, 360-foot par 3 here. I think this is one of the best par 3 holes in the area. Plays slightly downhill. Got to navigate some early trees here. What really makes this a little bit tricky here is a slightly downhill, as you can kind of see that accelerating. And then look how quickly these bushes and things pop up here behind the basket. So it's kind of a tweener. You got to control the distance to make sure you still have a look off of the tee.
Man, Matty O looking to go for probably a little baby flex with the pine here. Kind of his go-to mid-range.
Should have a putt from there. Here we had probably this Aurora, kind of a straight-looking disc. Oh, just misses that tree, or did it kick it?
I think it might have kicked it. Either way, the result is fantastic. Like you said, this could be a tricky par 3, and he's put himself in prime real estate to find the birdie. This might be the Dark Rebel from Sylus, kind of a flippier fairway. That tree might have saved him, honestly.
Yes, that was the, you know, the speed control I was a little worried about. Let's see what Johnny's got.
Just catches a pine there, about midway up the fairway or so.
Johnny's had to do a little more scrambling in this round than he would probably like. Probably looking to clean that up in future rounds.
Sure. I will say he's been very successful at it, though, as he has not really leaked any strokes. As Matty O punches one in there from range. Let's run that one back, as, again, we know that Matty O is good at these little jumpers from range. Puts the judge right there in the heart of the chains. Beautiful job there from Matty O.
Took full advantage of his position.
So does Chad. That'll be a birdie to match. Keeping himself quite close on Matt right now.
Good confidence builder there for Sylus.
Yeah, you know, you had a bit of a slow start, but he's definitely picked up the pace. Just, you know, a few strokes off the lead here of Matty O. So we'll wrap things up here on hole 12 with the scores still being pretty tight on our feature card. Many of them making them, you know, themselves a good boost to be on lead card for round 2, that's for sure. as we now jump into hole 13, back into a little bit more open pastures.
Yeah, what a beautiful hole here, but man, surrounded by danger. OB right, OB left here on the road. 566 feet. The players can really dissect this into a couple of 280-foot shots, but you can see the fairway really narrowing down here. Players have to come up a little short of this creek, or if they make the decision to go big and to get to eagle. I think we'll see most of our players probably kind of dissect this one in two here, maybe throw a hyzer and land at that 300-foot mark or so.
Yeah, Matt's just looking for a stock hyzer here with the AT, just spiking it into the ground, like you said, dissecting it into two. And one of the things I have to say about this property is it's so beautiful how the OB is manicured with the tall grass and the white stakes. Like, it's so easy to tell what's out of bounds. And speaking of which, that is well out of bounds from Chad, unfortunately.
Just had a couple of those that have been just a little too low. The lines up good, but just a little too low.
That's a fair observation, as we do see good move there from Sylus right to the middle of the fairway.
Little left. Oh, sits down nicely for Johnny.
This is Chad throwing 3.
Ooh, he was in a really tough spot. He literally couldn't really reach the green from where he was, so he had to kind of lay up before going across.
And kind of double punishment as Matteo with the Warden here, I believe this is. Just trying to get on that island.
Probably similar distance as his first shot. Ooh, just gets over, but in really good spot.
Now looking for another turkey here on the scorecard. JohnE McCray also in good position to approach the green. That will do.
A bit of a tester, but I think Johnny's up for it.
And that will set Chad for a pretty routine putt to limit the damage with the bogey after OB off the tee.
That looks good.
I'd say so, Shane. I would say so. Right near the mulch.
Yeah, just trying to keep that momentum going.
Johnny gets it in there. Another birdie on the board.
I'll take it. I gotta have a choice.
Yeah, Johnny's liking that birdie.
Matteo's liking that turkey.
Ooh, he's going to be tough to run down if he keeps this up.
Yeah, he's only one stroke off the hot round that we saw put in earlier today. As it will be Chad with the bogey.
There for,
yeah,
I know he's disappointed in that.
Birdies all around for everyone else, though. Keeping the scores moving in the right direction. You can see still a little bit of a lead there for Matteo being built up. Several holes still left to play as we move on over to hole 14.
Yeah, this hole is a little bit of a redesign. It used to play off and to the right. Kind of was a tweener, so course designers took a look at it and tried to find a way to get a little bit of a score separation. So now it's mostly a straight shot. We have the OB on the left side road. You can see the stakes kind of creeping out there on the right side. So players are trying to navigate this OB, really get across this little bit of creek here, which plays casual, and then they have a sloped green that still, can kind of present some dangers with rollaways. So let's see how our players attack this one. Probably a lot of straight shots if I had to guess.
Yeah, this is actually Matteo at the Pine, so he's going kind of back to that trusty, slightly overstable mid-range that he's been really liking to jam on lately. Again, he loves his baby flex shot with this disc. That's beautiful.
346, mid-range, no problem. Uphill, got it all day.
A little bit overturned there from Sylus, but stays away from the OB thanks to that tree. Oh, man.
Ooh. A little closer than he would like, but he's still got a putt.
Don't know for sure, but I would guess this is probably a St. Pro from JohnE McCray.
Yeah, pin high, just right there on that ridge. Could be a tricky putt.
Oh, this looks great from Chad.
Oh. Yes, there's a stress-free shot that helped get him, kind of back going for the round.
Yeah. Again, the bounce back has been good from Chad, on both the bogeys. As this is a long birdie putt for Sylus. I mean, you can't say he didn't give it a good try. Top band.
Yep, at least it sat right down for him there to kind of make sure to keep the bogey out of play.
Oh, and another left side miss for Matteo. This happened as well, kind of earlier on the front nine. Just very uncharacteristic.
Yeah, can you imagine what he would be shooting if he had capitalized those?
Hey, it'd be 10 under already. Through 14.
Good putt.
So.
Good putt there from Johnny.
Absolutely. Par here for Sylus. Chad basically has a drop-in birdie somewhere, and then, of course, Matt should be able to clean up the par no problem.
Well done from Chad.
Have to agree with that one, as that is going to allow him to kind of gain a little bit of a stroke on some of the other players on the card, keeping things nice and tight as we end this final stretch of the back nine coming up here shortly.
TeamDiscraft.com. All the team favorites on one site.
Back into the action here on the back nine with hole number 15.
Yeah, this is a hole that in its early design just really didn't present much challenge to the players at 371 feet, but now they've added some OB on this left side, as you can see, with stakes, and then we have the right side OB along with some foliage and OB behind the basket. So really that's the only task the players have. Stay in bounds, and at 371, most of our players should have a birdie look on this hole.
Yeah, nice swinging hyzer here from JohnE McCray, exactly the way that you want it. Does catch the tree a touch, but not enough to really have an impact.
Yeah, had enough power to kind of beat that tree there. Chad, kind of a similar line here, out to the right, trying to let it hyzer in. It comes just in front of the tree, but still inside the circle for a putt.
Yep, and this is going to be a, I believe, orbit Rive for Matteo. Kind of his go-to, slightly more overstable distance driver. That'll play.
Yeah, makes it look easy. 371 uphill. Oh, just a little past the basket.
Going to guess Halo Destroyer here from Sylus. He's put a move on it.
Yep, this should have enough. Just get some ground play.
Man, could be a potential star frame here in the cards for our featured players. Chad will do his part in making sure that happens.
Yep, nice birdie there. 2 in a row for Chad to help him bounce back from that bogey.
He's put himself right back in the mix. As Matt will put it just over the top there to get his own birdie going. That's now 4 of the last 5 going his way.
Dustin, I've played this hole a lot. It is not as easy as these guys are making it look.
Well, I can't even throw this far, so I know for a fact that I would be taking a par on this one at best, so I feel you, man. It's Matteo nearing double digits with just a couple of holes left to play. Looks like you might just very well hit that mark, but JohnE McCray and company not too far behind here as we head into hole number 16.
Yep, pretty stock shot here, 279 feet. You got to hit a gap about 2/3 of the way, trying to get between the rough on the left and between these two trees, and then just let it hyzer back. Fun fact, I actually watched Chad Sherbert ace this hole in a previous big rip. So I'm sure he'll be looking at that as hopefully a possibility for him to get his round back on track. So we got 2 birdies. An ace here would go a long way.
I'm in for it.
Looks good. Maybe a little early? No. Perfect.
Yep, just playing that ground play nicely to skip himself up there near the bullseye. Looking to do the same here as Chad Sherbert. I mean, not too far off the ace run you were talking about. Just a little shallow of the basket.
Hopefully it's not too far in there. I think he'll have a putt. A little low.
Oh, catches the pine on its way in, too. I think that was actually his adder, which is like a really overstable distance driver, and he was really looking to play just the low line drive skip shot, but caught a tree on his way in the green.
Yeah, makes sense. He didn't look happy about it, but still going to be right there by Matt, I believe, for a putt.
Yeah, it felt
An
like
opportunity
was,
to maybe big putty.
Yeah, I mean, look, he was playing like a slower speed disc there, so didn't get as much ground action, but bam! That'll go in. Run that one back. Hold on.
Great putt here.
I mean, he's had a couple from range that were very close to going in, where he hit top band or something along those lines, but this time he has found it. He is pumped, and I don't blame him. That was a beautiful putt. Not to be outdone, though. We'll run Matty O back as well, who hits you with another little jumper. Dead
Not
center.
today. Not today. Not going to be big putted today. Great putt there.
Nah, he's got to keep these young whippersnappers in shape, you know what I mean?
Ooh, this is what I was a little worried about. No
Tough,
problem.
but
no
done.
problem.
Yeah. Looked like he had a good window there, and he was able to capitalize on it, so...
Second
turbo
star frame
tap
in a row.
Indeed.
Okay.
GD, Mike. Mike.
CTP arguments going on here?
Oh, yeah. Is that for us, he said?
I don't know.
All right. Here we are, hole 17. Third easiest hole in the course. A little bit of a downhill look that we have here, kind of from an elevated tee. A lot of times the trick is here, especially if you're playing the forehand, is how do I control the skip so it doesn't go too far away from the basket, because it's really going to pick up disc, especially if you're throwing like a fast, overstable driver. So we got a little OB long. We'll see a mixture of turnovers here and forehands, I believe.
Yeah, JohnE McCray brings the fuse back out that we saw him using quite often on the front nine for the turnover.
Needs to stay up a little bit.
I just didn't have the height.
Yep, that's been his miss today on the turnovers. A little bit too turned. Gotta miss that one pine. When it gets through.
That is a fantastic shot. That is how you draw it up if you're throwing a backhand turnover on this hole.
Yeah, I think Chad must have recycled this week. Great shot.
This is Matty O with putter. This is a Warden, so he's looking to play something slow so he doesn't get that ground action you were talking about.
Oh, this looks good too.
Absolutely.
Down it a little bit more.
If you wouldn't have caught that branch, that probably would have been parked.
I think so.
This also looks
Is
like a
this
slow
gonna
speed
turn
from
enough?
Sylus. Right in the circle.
Just inside circle. Yeah. So no forehand, surprising enough. Everybody's trying to stay away from that skip.
Drawing metal is JohnE McCray there with the shield from range, but he'll have to settle for par on this one. And Matty O continues to collect strokes on the field, now at 11 under par, guaranteeing that he will have the hot round of the day. Which I guess, you know, that's not too surprising, is it? Not a player of his caliber.
Absolutely not. And just think, you know, his driver has really been on point. It's just the putter a couple of times I got away from him. So if he's able to clean that up in future rounds, we could see some really hot numbers.
Absolutely.
Chad there with the birdie as well.
Yeah, he has really bounced back well from those 2 bogeys. It's 4 birdies in a row after the last one, so really well done. Absolutely. Want to see some good competition out here as we have 1 hole left to go. You can see 3 players at 8 under, Matty O at 11. We'll finish things off after the break. Here we go. Final fairway.
Yeah, probably our signature hole here. Par 4, 600 feet. Players are going to be trying to hit this early gap. Make sure they clear all of the rough here. We have road on the left, a lot of rough on the right. OB marked by these white stakes. Our big arms are probably getting right around in here to the culvert if they want to test for an eagle. What we're really probably going to see is a lot of players either throw a forehand, driver, spike in, or maybe a mid off the tee and kind of divide this hole in half.
Looks like Chad Sherbert's going for that same kind of slightly more understable mid-range here off the tee that we've seen him throw a couple of times.
Yep, not a lot of distance, but in a really good place in the middle of the fairway here to attack the basket.
This is Matt. I think that's an Orbit Grace, so kind of a slightly understable 11 speed, just playing the turnover.
Well done.
I think that's that Dark Rebel out of Sylus. Again, kind of a flippier fairway driver. Gets him in a good spot as well.
Players really aren't trying to bite off too much here. Just making sure I stay in bounds to get for the second shot, which has some tricky OB. Oh, flirting with the tree when I just said everybody's playing safe.
Yeah.
Oh, a little closer.
Yeah, I believe that was a fuse out of him there. As he's now looking to attack the fairway with something a little faster on the second shot. And that'll do it. Just outside the circle, it looks
short,
like. Yep.
But yeah, should have a putt. Yeah, this green is a little tricky. OB gets really tight up here, so our players try to navigate that OB and get themselves a putt. This looks really good.
Speaking of putting, indeed. Chad won't be doing any of it. He's put that right next to the mulch.
Yeah, he doesn't like putting.
I don't either, man. If I can get away with not having to do it, sign me up.
Yeah, good shot there by Sylus as well.
Yep. Harp approach here from Matty O. Another one of his Tour Series disc. A little short.
We got a couple testers here.
And not quite there from Matt.
Ooh,
and
sit down.
Ooh, that was nearly treacherous.
Oh, man, just stays in bounds.
Yeah,
Johnny just off the edge.
He will also trickle just back in bounds, it looks like. That's from what I can see.
Oh, a couple of great breaks there.
Yeah, that could have been really rough. But, I mean, you mentioned it earlier when we were talking about the hole. This OB around the green, something you got to account for. But Sylus not worried about it at all. Tats in the birdie. Puts him at 9 under. Matching the pace of Brister from earlier. And, yeah, look at this. A couple of inches in bounds. As McCray takes his meter.
Yeah, a couple of really good breaks here by our players. This green can be really tough, that upshot. It's very tough. So I'm glad to see them stay in bounds here. See if we can make this one count.
Puts it
there
in.
We go. Good par. As we see the gallery kind of gathering there to watch this finishing hole for our group.
As Matty O will look to finish things off with the par here, but still winds up with a double-digit under par round, so a nice pace being set there. I believe that will be the hot round of the day.
Yeah, he's going to be looking to clean up a few of those putts, and it's going to be exciting to see what happens here the next couple of days with these players, kind of getting this first round under them, getting to know the course, and it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, Matty O 11 under. I don't believe he had a single bogey on the round, so clean car. JohnE McCray 8 under par. He also kept things clean, I think, pretty much the whole way through, and we'll We'll take a look here at the leaderboard. It'll be Matty O top in the lead card. We'll have Kyle Gray and Kenny Brister joining us, and Chad Sherbert will be making a return. Sylus Williams is also in that tie for second. JohnE McCray and company in that tie for sixth, just a stroke or two behind. And that's going to do it here for round one for our 2023 Big Rip Classic coverage. Again, make sure that you are subscribing to Ace Run here out on YouTube, as well as following them out on Instagram and Twitter to keep up with all their coverage throughout the year. Again, you can follow me at Follow Dust on Instagram and Twitter, and Dustin Disc Golf on YouTube. Then, of course, Shane is Discraft Pro out on YouTube, so be sure to give him a follow as well. And, of course, a big shout out to all the Ace Runners who help support the Ace Run production community. And, folks, we hope that you'll return to catch the rest of the coverage. Shane, pleasure. See you next time.